If you need to understand how you will be doing vis-a-vis your creativity, your imagination, results of your children, and your ability to be able to nourish your children and nourish yourself and have a good quality of life through your creativity, through your imagination, then this is the chart, the D7 chart, the Saptamsa chart for you.
Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, namaskar and adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan. Once more with you from your very own channel, Astro Assurance. We have been doing the divisional charts. We have done the D1 chart, then we have done the D9 chart. So many. I mean, in the Navamsa, the number of videos I have made on the Navamsa, hardly any channel on this platform, YouTube platform, would have done. And we also covered the Chaturamsa or the D4 chart. Today I am going to talk about the Saptamsa chart or the D7 chart. Now, what is the D7 chart? The D7 chart has been known to predominantly focus on the attributes of children, your progeny, but your creativity and your imagination as well. Now, why creativity? Children are also seen to be your creation, coming through your imagination. Now, maybe we need some imagination in the sexual act, in the intimacy act, maybe some variations also. So that's up to you, how imaginative, how creative you can be in the act. But your creativity surely from the Shastras is seen to be your children, and through your creativity, through your imagination, what are the results you are getting not only in the progeny, the birth of your children, but also henceforth. What is the quality of life you are able to give them? How well you are able to nourish them? How well you are able to get your nourishment to be able to nourish them? What will be your focus and attention vis-a-vis your children? What kinds of children you may get? Will your children do very well? What kind of support you may be able to give your children? What kind of a parent you will be? And what kind of creativity and imagination you will be able to bring in to bring the nourishment in your home, in your domestic life. Now, why are the divisional charts important? One of the aspects of divisional charts is, for example, the D1 chart, the Lagna chart is the most important chart. However, why are the other charts important? Now, for example, let's look at the 5th house. Now, because you're talking about children, let's focus about that area where the children are related to in the D1 chart, which is the 5th house. Now, the 5th house in your D1 chart is not only about your children. It's about your speculative investments. It is about what you love, what your interests are. It's also about your children. It's also about your creativity and imagination. It is also the stage, media, performances. It's also about your romantic life. What kind of romances you will be indulging in. What kind of love affairs you may have. It's also the 8th house to the 10th house, which means it is also the house which will show you what kind of changes may come in your career, when they may be coming, whether there will be turbulences, ups and downs in your career and so forth. So, this means that the 5th house of your D1 chart has a plethora of areas. Same thing with every house in your D1 chart. How do we know that which area of life we will do better and not better? Just because the 5th house in your D1 chart is good and the 5th lord is well placed. There, and the finer aspects of that particular area, we look at the divisional charts. So, in your speculative investments, will you make good enough money to be able to make assets? You don't only see from your 5th house of speculative investments, speculative gains. Of course, the 4th house also, whether you will be able to make assets, but also the D4 chart, which will give you more finer aspects of whether you will be able to do really well, just about okay or not. Because the 4th house of your D1 chart is giving you the peace, the tranquility, the satisfaction, the domestic life, various areas of life, but not only the material aspects or not only the nutritional aspects vis-a-vis your domestic life. There you see the D4 chart. So similarly, the D7 chart you see in terms of the finer elements you see with respect to children, your creativity, your imagination, rather than the 5th house of your D1 chart alone. So how do you see how you will be able to do in the matters of children, or your creativity, or your imagination. To some extent, it is also said spirituality, your spiritual elevation, or your lineage. Why lineage? It is said that the 5th house is also the house of your prarabdha karma, which means that what kind of prarabdha karma you're carrying, because of which you're rewarded good children in this life. Children are supposed to be the rewards. Now, in today's time, to tell you frankly, I've seen many families where children are not really a reward. They are maybe a burden. They are definitely higher responsibility. Their tension, their extra responsibilities, and that's why I've seen many couples nowadays not have children or ask me, are we supposed to have children? Whether we will be going against our karma if we don't have children, and so on. So my answer to you would be, there is no specific karma that you have to have children, but do you have the potential to have children? Can you have good children? Can surely be seen through the horoscope. There is no force, but there is no guarantee either. So the potential is there. Whether you want to use the potential or not, it's up to you. We have been given enough choices. So same thing with reference to the D7 chart, the Saptamsa chart. First of all, the ascendant will tell you what kind of person you will be with respect to your children. So for example, if it's a Capricorn signed ascendant you have in the D7 chart, then it may be that you are very practical, logical with respect to children. Whether to have children or not, also you will think through logical aspects of life. Am I earning enough? I'm not earning so much. I'm in a different country. I don't have a stable job. Should I have a family now? So there are many considerations before you even start a family, because of what kind of ascendant you have in the D7 chart. So the kind of ascendant you have, you will be that kind of a parent, you will be that kind of a nourisher, you will be that kind of a creative person. If it's Cancer, obviously you will be more supportive, you will be more caring, you will be more emotional about matters of your children. For example, if it's Leo, then you will take more responsibility and accountability in various aspects of your children. In fact, you may want to take leadership even in their future. What should the child do? What should the child not do? You may be very authoritative with them, not only as a leader, but also you may want to lead holding their hands in a certain direction, which the child may not appreciate. The child may want to have his or her own freedom. So vis-a-vis what ascendant you have in the D7 chart, the Saptamsa chart will also show what kind of a parent you may be. Not only in terms of your children, but also your own creativity, your also imagination, your ability to be able to derive greater benefits from your life because of your creativity and your imagination. One aspect of that is also your children. So will you be more responsible in your creativity, in your imagination? Will you be somebody who is also using your creativity and imagination for the larger social good? Aquarius ascendant. Will you be somebody who will be very methodical, very calculative in your creativity, in your imagination? Virgo ascendant. So basis what kind of ascendant you have in your D7 chart, your Saptamsa chart, you will also be that kind of a person with respect to your creativity, imagination, children, nourishment, the ability to be able to generate more goodness, more gains out of that aspect of life. So surely the ascendant is important. Where the ascendant lord is placed is also important. Now, a number of times I've seen that many websites, many platforms, many astrologers, many books say the first house is important, the 5th house is important, the 10th house is important with respect to children. But a divisional chart is not only for a specific house. Specific house are important, but not only that house. For example, just because we are talking about children, only the 5th house is important. No, the entire D7 chart, Saptamsa chart, entire chart is responsible for different aspects of your creativity, your imagination, and your children. So for example, the 2nd house and its placement, its dignity will tell you what kind of nourishment you'll be able to provide your children, whether you will have enough bank balance, whether you will be able to generate enough financial security for them. The 3rd house will show whether you will put in enough effort towards your children, whether you will take them to school, whether you will run around for the admission, whether you will run around for if they are sick, whether you will run around when they have sports day, or to involve yourself in extracurricular activities, take them for picnics, take them for sightseeing, be more involved in their life. You will be the 3rd house. 4th house is whether they are able to get a good domestic life, peaceful environment from you, and vice versa. With respect to children, when you are with your children at home, what kind of environment you are able to create? What kind of environment is being generated? Is it peaceful? Is it loving? Is it caring? Is it satisfactory? The fourth house will show. The fifth house will obviously add more credence to your fifth house on your D7 chart, which means that if both the fifth house of your D7 chart and the fifth house of your D7 chart are strong, which means the ability to create children, progeny is strong, very strong. So the chances of having children or being creative or being imaginative in getting gains is high. This can also be related to some extent that sometimes when the fifth house is very strong in both the D1 chart and the D7 chart, then many times after the children are born, when parents do speculative investment, they make more money through stocks, through some investment, speculative investment they do. The sixth house will show if the sixth house is not in good dignity and there are malefics involved, then the children may not face an easy life. You may not face it easier to deal with children with matters of children. With matters of children on a day-to-day basis. For example, sicknesses. For example, competition. For example, competition to your children. Or will you have challenges in having a progeny? Because the sixth house is involved. So sometimes if the fifth lord is not well placed in the D1 chart and in the D7 chart, the sixth house is not well placed, it has malefics, then there may either be challenges or hindrances in having children, or children may be born late, or it may also be that sometimes you may not get the best results out of your children as well. Sometimes it may also show if the fifth lord in your D1 chart is not well placed and in the D7 chart the sixth house has malefics and that sixth lord is also not well placed. So sometimes your relation with the children may not be very good. Okay, so these things should be seen. The seventh house is more about what kind of a partnership, teamwork, team effort you may have with children or in your creativity, in your imagination. Remember, the D7 chart is not only about your children. It's also about your children, but it's also about your creativity, imagination, and how you will be able to do. So the D7 chart, 7th house will show how creative and imagination you will be able to be in your partnership, in your teamwork, which will also be related to, in matters of your children, how you and your partner think. Do you work as a team, act as a team when you are dealing with matters of the children, or you're fighting with each other? So for example, what kind of planet goes into the 7th house where your 7th lord is placed will also show what kind of approach you will have towards children. If there is sun in the 7th house, which means you may take more responsibility, but you may also want to take some decision even over your spouse. You will say, no, nothing doing, I will do this, children will do this, you don't worry too much about it, or you don't get involved, you don't know much, you're always taking wrong decisions, you're not very practical about children, let me lead the way here. So sometimes that kind of approach may also be seen. Moon is there, which means you may be more emotional and emotionally you may have a challenge with respect to your partner about children. It's not about your ascendant. It's about how in a partnership, in a team effort, what kind of an approach you bring. So you may bring a very emotional approach when you're dealing with your partner in matters of your children. So there you have to see, are you really doing that? If your D7 chart is also saying that, and in your D1 chart, you have moon placed in the 4th house, then surely there is an added thing that at home, in your domestic life, with reference to your children, you may be more emotional. Emotionality could also be being angry, breaking down, sobbing, crying, screaming with your partner also. Or being very happy also if the moon is in very good dignity. If it's exalted in Taurus sign, because your ascendant is Scorpio. So those things have to be seen. Similarly, 8th house will show the turbulences, ups and downs, the challenges, but it will also show whether you are able to leave some legacy or inheritance for the children also, whether you will be able to do that, whether you will be able to give that enough financial security after you're gone. It will also show the involvement or help of the in-laws with respect to your children. Many times grandparents also help in matters of dealing with children. The 9th house will show long distance travel, education, how you're able to teach them, Are you upskilling yourself to deal with children or matters of children, or for your imagination and creativity? Because the D7 chart is also about that. So always, whenever you're looking at any divisional chart, look at the fine elements with respect to what the chart is saying. For example, what is the D7 chart? It is nothing but the 7th part of the Lagna, which means when you make 7 parts of the Lagna out of the 30 degrees, then what do you get? So you roughly get 4 degrees and I think 7 minutes or something as each part of the Lagna. So the 7th part of that of the Lagna is giving you the D7 chart, and that becomes your ascendant in your D7 chart. So all the houses of your D7 chart are also relating to a specific area. Just like the 10th house will show how in your career you are doing with respect to your children, and how you're using your imagination, your creativity to get gains in your career, to be able to nourish children at home, to be able to create the supportive environment at home, to be able to create a very imaginative, creative approach to work, then resulting in gains coming in the home, then creating avenues to create more nourishment also in the house. Now the nourishment is there. How you deal with your children is different. That will be seen through your ascendant. That will be seen through your ascendant lord. That will be seen with what planets are placed in the 5th house and so on. So different aspects of different houses in your D7 chart will give you different approaches, different areas, different dynamics with respect to children. The 11th house will show whether your wishes and desires with respect to children will be completed or not. Some parents want, I want a boy first. Some parents want a boy and a girl. 2 boys may be born to them. 3 boys may be born to them. My younger brother, he has 3 sons. He wanted the second child to be a girl. The child was a boy. Then he wanted the 3rd child to be a girl. 3rd child was also a boy. I got 2 boys. So my elder sister, she has got 2 boys. So in my family, there are boys all around. Except my second sister has got 1 girl. She's the darling of everybody because she's the only girl child among 4 siblings. So then whether your wishes and desires to what child you want, the kind of child you want, success of the child, mass success of the child, wishes and desires with respect to, if you have expectations from your children, that the child should take care of me in my old age, that the child should listen to me, the child should marry according to my wishes and desires. Whether those wishes and desires will be fulfilled or not will also be seen through the 11th house. And finally, the 12th house will show the distance from the child, how far the child is with you, are you isolated from the child, are you far away from the child, is the child bringing you losses and excesses, or your imagination and creativity bringing losses, challenges, problems in matters of dealing with children also. So each aspect of the 12 houses in the D7 chart. Now, specific planets, Jupiter is the Karaka of children. So if Jupiter is very well placed in your D7 chart, then the probability of having children and good children who will do well, will also be seen, specifically if Jupiter is placed in good signs and good houses. If Mars is involved, then how much focus and attention you have towards children. How well Mars is placed will show how you're attentive towards your children, how focused they have, how much energy you spend on them. That will also be seen, especially if Mars is in the Lagna, Mars is in the 5th house, Mars is in the 11th house, Mars is in the 2nd house. Then you will obviously give more time and attention to your children. Except Mars is in the 8th house, you'll always be worried about your children. What will they do? Over-worrying will also happen, especially if it's in bad dignity. Then in any house, it may create those unnecessary thoughts in your mind. If Venus is very well placed, then obviously the intimacy is enough in your married life. The creativity in your conjugal life is also good enough so that you are able to create more children as well. So if Venus is bad in your 7th house, which may mean on one side, maybe the girl child is not born to you. Especially if Mars is strong, then we more male child. The other thing is, are you having enough intimacy in being able to create your children? So that will also be seen. So if both the couples will have, both the partners in the couple will have very good Venus, then intimacy will be more. Whether children are more or not is a secondary thing. Maybe you're using protection. I don't want to get into those matters, but that's the choice given to you. Whether you want to have more children, because Venus well placed, which means the ability of having more progeny. Venus is also Shukranu, sperms, which is also connected to the birth of children, is also seen. So better Venus place in the 7th house, both the parents will also show the ability not actual result, but the ability to have more children also. So basis how planets are placed in your D7 chart, what is the dignity of the house, what is the ascendant, all these will combine to give you the matters of the children, how well you're doing with them, how well they're doing with you, what is the equation with them, are you happy with them, are they going to be successful or not. So friends, do look deeply into your charts about the matters of your children. Also see what dignity your planets are in, which is the lord of the 5th house, how well it is placed in your D7 chart, and because what doshas or yogas that it is in, because that will also bring in its own flavor to the results of children, imagination, creativity with respect to the D7 chart, with respect to the Saptamsa chart. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me with the link given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend Astrologer and Guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.